guys, and today I'm reviewing the Nintendo Switch. I have a lot of things to talk about because it's a very complex console, but I'm lucky to have one, so I thought I was going to review it once I got it. So here's pretty much the main power of it. It's the tablet itself. This is what the Switch is. It has, you charge it right there. It's the same EC adapter that goes into, which plugs it into the wall, which makes it protect on the TV. It has, stand, so when you're on the go you can put it down there, so you can use it in many different ways. You can just use it like this. It also has a micro, I don't know if you can see it, but it has like a micro, you probably can't, it's like a micro SD slot, because the SD cards are smaller than normal. It has power button over here, volume adjust, the cartridge goes right here, so you can see that most of the console is just this, but there's a lot of different ways to do it. So probably the main part of it is the Joy-Cons. I have the gray ones, but there are like there are red and blue ones, so they're cool. They're probably gonna come out with more colors later down the line. But these you can use them like one in each hand, just kind of like this. But you can also, which is probably the coolest part, attach one to the console and attach another one to the console. So now it is completely one different thing. It's like a Wii U in a way. So that's cool. But of course, if you're playing on the TV, you're probably not going to want to play on a tablet, so you're going to play on the main dock controller, which you can attach to this piece, which makes it a controller. And I know that not that many people like this controller, but since I might have smaller hands, I don't mind the grips too much, and the buttons aren't the biggest buttons, but they're not that bad, and it doesn't feel, it's very comfortable when you're playing some of these games. See the back of it? It has L and R. I'll just kind of show the button layout. Analog stick here. Another one here. Kind of instead of start and select, they have like a plus and minus button. Because each Joy-Con is like a plus and minus, and it kind of helps on how you set it up. So if you don't have the Joy-Cons set to this, well, you don't have to use it like this. Just have this, which you can just store somewhere else. And there is like they do make a Pro controller, which is kind of like an Xbox controller, which is actually probably the significant way to play, but it's like $70, and that's not, I'm talking about the stuff that comes in the box day one, not the accessories. So, also when you're playing games like ARMS or 1-2 Switch, you probably want wrist straps, and you attach this on where the tablet would go, and then, now, you can wear it on your wrist, and it works. It's almost better than the Wii one, because you don't have to have anything attached to it. It actually works really well. But the only problem with using it like this is, it's really hard to get off. But you can get it off with dedication, and it took a couple times the first time you try to do it, but you'll figure it out. There's also like a lock, so you can like lock it in place if you don't want it falling all over the place when you're playing, but that won't happen. So when you're playing multiplayer, here's probably the biggest con of it. You have to play on the Joy-Con sideways, and you even have like a makeshift L and R button, but it's kind of small, and that's why they make like a third-party thing where you can put the Joy-Con in. I don't have it, but it kind of makes it like a little controller. It adds like 2 different grips, and that's actually a good idea if that's something you're willing to do in the future. But it's not that bad. It really depends on how well you're willing to play multiplayer games. It works for some games. With like hardcore, like Breath of the Wild, it's probably not the best way to go. And here is the dock for when you plug it into the TV. So you don't need this really if you're not playing on the TV. It could just be a handheld, but you can put the tablet in the dock and you turn it on, except this time you have to plug in on the back the AC adapter and the HDMI, and then that will make it come on their TV. And then you don't even have to turn anything on the TV. You could just, when it's there, get the Joy-Cons, put it in, boom, it's a handheld. You don't even have to switch anything. It just, well, that's a pun, but that's not really what I mean. So you get the main idea. So that's the main thing of the Switch. I'm kind of gonna go through everyone. I'm gonna show you I'm just going to kind of show you every detail of it. So first, here's like the strap I forgot to mention. So as you can see, the Joy-Con, when you're playing as sideways, it kind of has small L and R buttons, or like these small things. But when you put the wrist straps on, which I actually kind of like this feature, it has separate L and R buttons, and they actually feel better. So if you're playing like this, I recommend you use the wrist strap because it has better L and R buttons that actually feel pretty nice. So it's probably a definitive way of playing like that. And I'm probably gonna get hate for this, but my favorite way to play is probably like this. It's just the most comfy. I do like tablet mode when you're doing that, but I just find it so much easier because I'm used to just having a controller. I know it doesn't always have to be like that, but that's what I'm used to. So if you put it in like this, easy, and the other one is still attached to the tablet. This one, this is the definitive way to do it if you have small hands. But the grips, I do understand if the grips are small, it can get uncomfortable at times. So, I'm going to kind of show you what's going on the tablet here. It's probably going to be hard to see. So, it has like a news page, and you make your own account, everything. I'm in news right now, but there's eShop. Right now, it doesn't have any virtual console, but you can put the things with it. And one of the things, which is returning, is Mii's, which is kind of a good thing if you like Mii's, but now the main thing that you could do now is you can dye their hair, and that's not really important, but they're probably going to make the equivalent of like Mii Sports, Wii Sports, or something like that, like Switch. I know that's kind of what 1-2-Switch is, but something like that where you use Mii's, I would not be surprised. There's also like a couple different controllers, there's sleep mode, which all handhelds should have, there's album. So I'm going to go to the eShop. Right now I don't currently have any games. Well, I have a couple games in the cartridge, but I don't have anything like downloaded to the system. I'm going to kind of show you what the options are right now. Of course, it's going to grow as time progresses. Sorry about the bad quality here. I'm just holding the tablet in front of you, so that's probably why it doesn't look so good. It's loading. You know, that's going to take time loading, but right now all they have is like Snipper Clips, which is a cool multiplayer game. Like, of course, they have Breath of the Wild, Bomberman R, and the 1-2-Switch, but they also have a couple other games like I Am Setsuna and like Shovel Knight and stuff. So that's definitely a good buy if you're gonna go in the eShop. But pretty much. Oh yeah. So there's also a home button, and this like takes a screenshot. And so when you're taking it out with the tablet and the controller, there's these little buttons on the side. So when you're taking it out of anything, just pretty much you pull down the button and then you just take the Joy-Cons out because you'll damage the thing if you break it. Another thing I've heard is if you have to be careful taking in and out the tablet from the dock. So you just gotta be careful with that. Don't be reckless taking everything out and stuff. But besides that, that's pretty much the main base to the controller. They also have on one of the Joy-Cons this motion sensor thing. I don't really know what it's called, but it's meant for games like 1-2-Switch or in the future where it can like detect like certain different like motions and stuff. So it's kind of like almost like a camera. And also, not really, it has the HD rumble, which is next level vibrations, especially on 1-2-Switch, where one of the things is you tilt it back and forth and you can simulate the feeling of rolling balls in a box and you have to guess how many are in it. It's actually really cool. So it's next gen vibrations, and that's what Nintendo does. Many people might not like this console because of some of its flaws and how it's not gonna it only has like 32 megabytes. It's not gonna match PlayStation or Xbox, but that's what Nintendo has always been doing. Nintendo has been innovating the market. Like with the NES, it invented video games. Or not really, but it's really what it is today. With the Wii, it invented motion controls for what they are today. And for things like that, that's really what Nintendo has done. So now the next standard, I bet you one of the PlayStations or something is going to have this feature. This is the new standard. So, yeah. So that's what I think about the Nintendo Switch. I'm going to give it, like, hardware-wise, 9 out of 10. It's cool hardware. You can turn into different things. And I'm not talking about all the flaws and stuff. I didn't find any flaws with the console itself, but just kind of how cool the tablet is in the dock. It's very well made. So I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, but we don't have enough games to really understand how well it's going to perform. But console-wise, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. But the thing, I guess power-wise, 7 out of 10. It's not like the next big powerhouse, but mostly a 9 out of 10 for the hardware, because that's all I'm really reviewing. I'm not reviewing any games. So thank you for watching. That was my review for the Nintendo Switch. Sorry it was a little longer, but I have a lot to say about it because it's such a cool console. So thanks for watching.